What is going on, guys? Monday Bully Live. You know how we do it every Monday, now at 6 p.m. We don't want to ruin the NFL. We want you guys to not miss your games. And I'm back here today with my dude, Gary Pope, and my other dude, James Double Chain. What is going on, fellas?
What's going on, sir?
Hey, man, doing good. James, do me a favor. Can you move your camera and put it horizontally?
Yes, sir.
There you go, man. Well, I kind of lost you there for a second. You still there?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, put it back the way it was before because I completely lost you there, man. We got Christopher Holiday saying, man, let's go. Let's get started now. Chris Holiday, I'm going to drop a link, man. If you want to join this convo, you definitely can. You know, we're going to be talking about everything that makes people uncomfortable, man. We're talking about co-owns. We're talking about Pup Back Deals. We're talking about picking puppies. You see, y'all don't know this, but this gentleman over here to my, let me see, my left, and when you're seeing me, to my right, I just want to real quick, man, send out congratulations. First of all, to James Double Chain and to Devin Ferraro for showing our girl Sunshine. She just won this past weekend. She tore it up, man. She went in 8 times. She got 8 first place wins. She got 6 out of 8 best female, man. So very excited. And this gentleman right over here is the one that made her, man. And I just, I can't thank you enough, James, and thank myself for scrolling on Facebook on the night that I did, because I rarely get on Facebook. We got Mr. Jerry James just joined us all the way at the bottom. James, talk to me a little bit, man. Talk to me about your kennel name, how long you've been breeding, and what were you thinking when you did the pairing in order to produce such an amazing pup as my girl Sunshine? The floor is yours, my friend.
All right. So 5D Bullies is the name of my kennel. It's been, going on 4 years now since we got into American Bullies. Came from American Staffordshire Terriers back in the day, and was just looking to get into something different. Had been out of dogs for a little while. Lucked up. I kind of jumped in head first into the breed. Picked up a great female, Grand Champion Nala. She's Sunshine's mom. She's off of Grand Champion Nipsey Hussle. Met a lot of great people along the way. I was looking to improve on her with that breeding, and she's a phenomenal dog, phenomenal temperament. And I was really looking to try to add more bone to her and build up on the head size was what I was attempting to do. And you know how you get to looking for studs, you can run yourself crazy for what route you're going to want to go to.
Absolutely.
We had jumped in on a high profile breeding before that with her. Unfortunately, about the same time the puppies were due, my dad came down with cancer. And just kind of dealing with all that, we wound up outsourcing to a whelper. And actually, we wound up losing some puppies. Mixed stories what took place. Next breeding, looking to get in, and was going to do everything myself in-house. This time we had the opportunity to do it, and kind of just struggled, man. I looked around on the internet. I was getting pulled to Colossal real hard. I really was thinking about going to Colossal. Kept debating between the two. By that point, his fees were up pretty good. Just looking what kind of investment I wanted to make, and I figured I knew all the dogs that I'd be interested in, and I put a feeler out there one day on Facebook, and hey, who would you take this girl to? Had pictures of Nala with her ribbons and everything else, and got a lot of feedback, a lot of comments, and I don't know. I ran across Thor, and I really took to him. You get to looking at studs, and I was just worried that the picture wasn't what the dog was in reality. Of course, we had to go make a trip and put my hands on him, and he was everything that I expected. Comparing the pedigrees, I thought he could do what I was looking for. So we made the move.
Wow. That's quite a story, man. So you drove all the way to Arkansas in order to see Thor personally, or did you
We
meet like
did.
at a show or something like that?
No, I hit him up, wanted to see Thor in person. You know, a lot of breeders, man, you know, they want deposit up front. And like I explained, I want to see, I've seen a lot of studs that shows that wasn't what the pictures look like, right? I
Right,
mean,
right.
everybody's seen that. Sometimes you look at some of these dogs and you look at this picture and man, he looks phenomenal. You get to see him in person. It's not exactly what you thought it was. So after coming across that a good bit, I wanted to see him in person. And we made a trip up just to go see him. Met Steven, great guy.
Yeah.
Just seemed like somebody I wanted to do business with. Had phenomenal dogs. So we made that move. Made the trip straight up and straight back home. That was the only point to the trip, but it was well worth it.
It was definitely well worth it, man. That's quite a story, man. Shout out to Stephen Maxwell, PBK. Obviously, I got some of your blood in my yard, not just with Sunshine, but also through my boy Blueberry and his sister Pinky. But definitely, man, when you do good business, you got people like James Double Chain that are going to be pointing the finger in your direction. Myself, I'll be pointing the finger in your direction. I know Gaines has worked with you directly as well. Mike Green, is that Mike Green or Donald Gaines?
It's Donald, man.
I can't
Mike,
tell them apart, man.
Hey,
Donald?
Mike Welp in the litter back there, man.
Oh, okay, cool. But no, definitely, man. Good business definitely leads to more business. That's the way I see it, man. And you know, tonight we're gonna be talking about picking pups and whatnot. I brought James in because not only did James, you know, produce my girl Sunshine, who you seen that champed out this past weekend, but in addition to that, I want to talk to James, right? So James, try not to be too specific, but when I reached out to you, man, tell people what was going through your mind and uh, you know, how did you feel when, you know, did I pressure you? Did I come at you strong? Talk to me, man. What was the experience like?
When you first reached out for a pup, you know, and I told you what was available, I could see there was more to it. So I knew that wasn't your goal. When I told you what puppies were interested, what puppies I had available, and you told me what you wanted out of that, but you seemed to be fishing for more. And at that point, I originally had posted Sunshine for sale previously, and as she was developing, I took her off. She was staying with me. That was the plan. She wasn't going anywhere. She's staying with me. Well,
Whoa, what happened? Did we lose him? Oh, there you go. I lost you for half a second, man. Go ahead.
Gotcha. So, when you came in and you were after her, I know you remember some of those conversations like, nah, she's not available. No, no, that's out, and the questions of what she was for sale for back then. And that was all still out. But, you kind of worked it. I mean, you did buy multiple dogs from me. So it was kind of like a package deal, right? So we were able to work it out. And the other part too was I understood where the dogs were going to and what kind of home they were going to. Man, I'm big on that. I'm not somebody that's gonna worry about just moving my puppies. Just anybody that's got some money to them. That's not what it's about for me.
I will second on that. I will tell you guys that one of the first things that came out of James' mouth, as far as me getting his pups and whatnot, was his ability to be able to see him on a weekly basis. Because I take video, I'm constantly dropping, whether it's on shorts, whether it's here or whatnot, and definitely that was something you definitely brought up, man. And I hope I've been able to keep you at ease, man, because we've definitely been posting as much as we can.
Yep. No, absolutely. It was that, we discussed showing, we discussed, which kudos to you, man. You held up to that end of the deal, You mentioned that you were going to be putting them in the ring, working on training them up.
Yeah.
To a breeder, that's all important things to them. But some people say that just to try to gain your favor, right? Because
Exactly.
everybody wants their dogs in the ring, right? Especially when their show quality. So that was all part of it, you know. And I know at the end of the transaction, at the end of things, whenever you added one of the, you went after a male, which I guess I was justifying which dog I was going to keep now that you were taking Sunshine.
Oh yeah.
Then you knocked me off my feet with the dog, the male I planned on keeping. But hey, the deal worked out for both of us.
Absolutely.
You know, good transaction and a good person to do business with. Get to see the dogs all the time. They're in the ring. I mean, and living their best life, right?
Well, likewise, brother. I appreciate that, man. Now, let me ask you this, because I'm asking everybody here, but you're the first one that's going to go up to bat, right? So, James, you dropped one hell of a litter. That Thor Nala litter you dropped, it just, I mean, it was one banger after another. Okay. Sunshine was not the only banger in that litter, straight up. What do you look for in a keeper? What are the things you're looking for in order to say this pup, male or female, is going to stay?
Traits that I need on my yard, you know, it's what I'm lacking. I'm looking to gain more and lock in what I have, of course, but you're always looking to build on what you have. You're not looking for something that's already has the traits that you have on your yard or weaknesses that you're already dealing with. You're looking to where you can improve. I mean, I look in me. I mean, I know it's way outside of that, but I mean, I even weigh in personality, which, you know, look for a puppy with confidence, you know, that's showing all the right features. You're looking for a dog that's got the build that you're looking for, but that personality, that confidence.
Okay, but
that's
what do you put first, the personality or the build?
I can have a beautifully built dog that's skittish, and that you know, that always, you know, cowers down, or that doesn't have that happiness to him, right? And that's not going to do a whole lot to me. I'll be honest with you. I would probably move that dog. To me, it's a balance effect that I'm looking for. Now, I haven't been breeding that long, but I've been able to find the dogs I've been looking for.
Let me ask the rest of my guys up here, man, because I really want to get that insight. Let's say you have a dog that's not full-blown skittish, but is just somewhat skittish, and it's got good structure. What do you prioritize? Any one of you guys, Gary, James, Jerry, Mike?
I mean, me, yeah, I mean, you really don't want a skittish really dog, especially if you know what I'm saying, want to take him to the show ring and that type of stuff. I mean, you can have troubles with car rides, and I mean, it could be a whole snowball effect, you know what I mean, when it comes to a skittish type of dog. You know what I'm saying? If you can do all the training.
So you prioritize the temperament then? So you'll walk away from a dog you feel, let's just say, and I'm just going to throw an example out there. You see a puppy like this. Let's say she has what you're looking for. If she's a little bit on the skittish side, I'm not saying full-blown skittish, but she's kind of borderline and a little skittish. Do you pass her up or do you go for it?
No, I mean, if she's the best one in the litter, and I'm trying to keep a female, and I know, you know what I'm saying, she's the best female in there, I'm still going to keep her, and I'm going to work with her and just do
build up her confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, like he's saying, like not necessarily skittish. You talk about a young pup. And we usually tell, like with Donald, like I said, go through that stress test. We can tell which dogs are more confident, which dogs are a little bit more skittish. You know,
Mike, just so you know, I can barely hear you, and I'm hearing a little rumbling on whatever mic you're on.
Oh yeah. Hold on.
That's better.
Yes, sir. Wait. Go ahead and speak. I can't hear you now. Can't hear you.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, it's a little better now. It's a little better now.
You can hear?
Yeah, I still get a little rumbling, but I could hear you. So tell me this, Mike, and everybody else, whoever decides, just go ahead and jump on it. How do you decide if a pup is truly skittish or not? If it's
testing,
skittish or that it's just
testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. How about that?
I can hear you.
You hear me clear? Still rumble?
Yeah, I still got a rumble, man.
All right, let me work on a mic.
Okay. I'll come back to you. Give me a
All
thumbs
right.
up. I'll bring you back. All right, gentlemen. So go ahead, Jerry. How would you test if the pup is skittish because it's a pup rather than truly being skittish, man? How do you work it?
Well, it's interesting. I actually did this yesterday. I was out in the yard, and I was picking up one of the other dogs. It was before time to feed, and it was a metal pan, right? And so I was walking back through the gate, and all the dogs, of course, they were up there, and it was funny. I banged that metal pan up against the wooden gate, and of course, you know, there's a racket. And one of the new puppies, right? A couple of them, they kind of recoiled like they would, like, "Hey, what's that? What's going on?" But one of the other ones just kind of stood there and looks at what's he didn't go backwards at all, right? He's like really curious, and he has always, we named him Doc. We were going to name him the Professor because he was so inquisitive and curious about everything. But
Right.
when that pan made that noise, he didn't recoil from it at all. He was like, you know, what's that? But you know, I have 3 sisters from last year's litter, and they're all a little bit different in terms of phenotype. And I would say in some ways they're a little bit skittish, but in other ways they're not at all. So much of what they're skittish about is really situational, and
Sure.
and it really involves more about if you make sudden movements and you're up above them, right?
That's
They'll kind of dip down a little bit, but if you're down on their level, you know, then I don't really have any issues, and they're not skittish about anything else. But part of it, and I've run into this, I feel like I've struggled a little bit with showing one of the girls because they were whelped by a female, right? And so they had that bonding with a female
Talk to me
for
about that. Yeah.
for 8 weeks, right? And then they come home to this big burly bearded dude, right? And I have spent a lot of time, especially with the one that I felt like was really the best show dog. I got one that's conformationally and everything. She is the best show dog. The other one, she has the attitude for a show dog that shows she wants to be out there and everything, but her rear angulation's not the best. So structurally,
Right.
she's the best dog, but temperament wise, for the show ring, she's the best dog. So I'm trying to make the structurally conformationally best dog.
All right.
I'm still trying to get her out in the ring. She has one major. Don't get me wrong; she's done okay, but she doesn't really have that get up and go for the show ring, right? So we're still kind of fighting with that a little bit, but I really.
So
would
you say she lacks a little bit on the confidence side?
I don't know that it's confidence, really. I think it's just you know, I'll take her out and I'll stack her, and she'll stack great. She'll work great for about 5 minutes, and then she's over it, man. Just So it's like,
Okay.
man, you know. And then I get her in the show ring, and what she does is her leash work and everything is fine, and then she just when it comes time to stack, she has complete disinterest in being there.
Well, it could be an attention span. It could be an attention span issue. I mean, amongst other things. Gary, just so you know, I'm muting your mic because your mic is the one that's causing the rumble. So whenever you're gonna speak, just raise your hand and I'll open it up. Okay.
All right.
All right. So let me ask you guys.
That's my experience.
No, I appreciate you sharing that.
Can you hear me?
It's funny. Yeah, I could hear you.
Okay.
It's funny you're saying that because today I took out my XL female and I purposefully went into a store, you know, packed with people, Home Depot, purposefully went up in there just wanting to see what her confidence level was. And she kind of raised the red flag at me. And the red flag she raised is when we went in there and there was so many people in the aisle, she just lay down. She shut down. I would just nudge her a little bit on the collar on the leash to get up. She didn't want to get up. She wasn't growling, nor was she aggressive, nor was she shaking or scared or anything, but she just shut down. So I was kind of glad she did that because luckily I had some treats in my pocket. So, you know, I immediately gave her a treat just to kind of break the ice. And then the next treat, I put it higher so she had to raise her head. Next thing you know, she was standing up again and she was walking up and down the aisle. But it's little things like that, little subtleties like that, that tell you how prepared they are for going in the ring. James, let me ask you this. One thing that Devin says about Little Sunshine, and I think most people that watch my videos know this about her, she's very outgoing, very happy. She literally smiles all the time. Was she like that ever since she was a tiny little pup, or was that something that she grew into?
No, she was like that from the time she was a tiny pup, and it's been her and quite a few of the other puppies off the litter. All seem to have
Okay.
that same personality. Some a little
She
more
has
so than others.
Yeah, she has amazing confidence. I don't care where I take her. She goes up to people, wagging her tail. She's like, "Hey, I'm here." You know, I'm like the life of the party type of personality. What's the best personality for a pup to go in the ring, Gary? Talk to me. You've been quiet there for a minute. What's the personality you're looking for when you're about to put a pup in the ring?
A pup that's attentive, that's paying attention to what's going on, listening to your commands and everything like that. One that's not trying to take off every time it sees something or looking around, shaking, looking, you know what I'm saying, taking his head back and forth all over.
So what you're saying is you want a beta that just sits there like a little soldier and follows instructions?
To a certain degree, you know what I mean? Because if you got a dog that's a little jumpy or something that, you know what I'm saying, say if you stacking the unit line up, you know what I mean, your dog turns around or something, that next dog might be a little hot, and you know what I mean, that might cause, you know what I'm saying, a situation. So yeah, I want because some people don't give you enough space, you know what I'm saying, in the show ring sometimes. They might be right on your
for sure. And do you think they do that on purpose? Because I've heard they do that on purpose.
Yeah, I mean they got other tactics too, you know what I'm saying? If you looking straight in the line, they might step their dog out past the carpet.
Jerry next to me looks like the type of guy that'll push the pup up on you just to put a little pressure on you, huh, Jerry?
Ooh. I'm
Oh,
very, maybe by accident, but I'm very respectful in the show ring.
No, I'm just messing with you, Jerry.
I know.
James, we have a question for you from Maurice Humboldt, man. How many pups were in the Thor Nala breeding? Total amount of pups?
8 pups.
8 puppies, man. That was one hard hit litter, bro. I gotta say it, man, because it wasn't just Sunshine. I have Sunkiss in my yard, and I have Patron, but I've seen that first pick male. He's a blue tri male, amazing looking dog. So there was, I mean, the pup you kept, the male you kept, super big. Boned up. It was one heck of a freaking litter. Let me ask you guys this: how do you guys feel about co-owns, man? How about co-owns, Mike? Talk to me, Mike. You look like a co-owner.
No, I'm gonna get back to what you say. Y'all skipped me on that last one, man.
Okay.
All of the dogs that I have, we experience with that we have, they all are different, right? And you really not gonna know. You'll socialize them and everything. You're really not gonna know what you got till you get in the ring. But it is just keeping them happy and confident at home and play and everything else, and just watch how they get introduced to something new. Car rides, just going everywhere with them. But I have dogs that went in the ring and look around and like, oh, they stacking, and they stack by themselves. I had dogs that are fidgety, you know what I mean? And you just got to gauge them all different. But what hadn't deteriorated was, I watched their confidence grow as the show went on, right? So we had dogs that went in there, kind of little deal, but then by the end of it, their personalities was able to come out like what we've seen them in the yard. So, and some of them don't, you know what I mean? And you won't know unless you got like they're saying, like a real skittish dog. You're not gonna know how it's gonna react to the different smells, the people, sometimes music. You know what I mean? Other dogs like Gary talked about being hot, people crowding you. You know what I mean? So you won't know how they're gonna act if they get in that ring and find out what they got. But I can tell you this: it take whoever owning the dog able to get that out of them in the yard. Like I have dogs that left there confident, went in the wrong homes, and they don't do nothing. They don't do nothing. So it's all environment is what I say.
So look, let me ask you this so people can learn, right? I mean, straight up, let's keep it real, right? I got your boy Tatanka and your girl Oreo in my hands, right? Right. So what would you recommend I do to build up that confidence so that when it's time for me to give them to you, for you to take them in the ring, you know, you get the best out of them? What would you recommend someone like me? I know nothing about the show ring, man. I know how to breed. I know nothing about the show ring. Talk to me like I'm a 4-year-old.
Yeah, so I'm of course I'm watching your videos and I'm looking at everything and I like what I'm seeing. Just them interacting in the pack and how like little what's her name? Oreo. Everybody seeing her with the XL and the stick. That's what you're looking for. They're not aggressive. They play hard, but not aggressive, not trying to bite and dominate the stick. Same thing. So I'm watching the dogs in the yard and how they're interacting. The other thing, the biggest thing is getting them on that lead. So as pups, right now, I notice none of them running around with leads on their neck. I will put leads on their neck and let them drag it around a chain.
Let it drag it around.
Anything that's gonna cause friction because the stacking, all of that. If the dog built right, that's gonna come natural. The chain is gonna be the issue. Walking on the lead, you know what I mean? So I drag my.
Well, this week I'm gonna make it a point. I'm gonna make some videos of them walking around with leads. They're gonna be leads all over the place. I'm gonna have to be careful where I step. I might just yank them if I step in the wrong place. But definitely, I'm taking your advice. What else can we do to build up their confidence? James, Jerry, Gary, any one of you. What else can we do to build them up, man?
So one thing I say with that.
Oh, go ahead.
Nope, I'm sorry. The one thing I say with that, you know, you talk about socializing them and getting them out. I mean, just what I seen with one of mine. You know, you got to be consistent with that when they're at a young age and keep doing it. I had a young male, my grand champion Jax. When he was young, I took him everywhere with us. We would go to, you know, soccer practice, to Tractor Supply, Home Depot. He was all over with me. And then I guess work picked up, didn't quite get the time, and I took a little break there in between. So let's say I really got him out and about all the way to 5-6 months, then maybe a 2 or 3 month period. And then I'm getting ready to start showing him, right? So I get him out and start kind of taking him out. Well, all of a sudden I realized that dog that loved everybody, that was real outgoing, that done changed on me. And you think about it, man, he was just out with me. Time flies by. Well, that few months difference, we had to start over again. Had to work, build him up, just being around people. You know, wasn't aggressive. He just wasn't sure of it. I mean, even our first show in the ring, the first time in the ring, you know, I bring him in the show and he spent most of the day, just so many dogs, the music cranked up, and just spent the time walking him around the ring. I got there when they opened up, spent the whole day just walking him around, getting him used to the dogs and the people. I think he made one run in the ring and he kind of was not sure. And then by the second show, when he hit the ring, his confidence was up. I mean, he like he owned the place. He cleaned house after that. So it was just working them through that, you know. But I'd say being consistent with it. You know, time goes by quick. You break away a few months on a young dog, you may wind up starting over again.
Yep.
Good point. 100. Very good point. Gary, what do you do, man, to build them up?
Yeah, that's how my boy Sincere was 3-time champ. He's like, you know what I'm saying, like his name, he's, you know what I'm saying, he's like almost too nice. You know what I mean? Like too, like he's just super chill. And so sometimes, like I would have to almost like get him hyped to, you know what I'm saying, get in the show ring. Like here, almost like come slumping into the show ring. You know what I mean? I got to bait him, you know what I'm saying, talk him up, hype him up, you know what I'm saying, pet him, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like get them amped up forward, especially when we about to get that around the ring gate. You know what I'm saying? I gotta make a move because he's a big boy. You know what I mean? He's, you know you know what I'm saying, 18 and a half inches, 105 pounds, they don't want him slumping around. He got to be, you know what I mean, around that ring. So I got to make sure he's always kind of hyped because he's a, you know what I'm saying, so laid back type of dog.
Okay. How about you, Jerry? What you got, man?
I take my pups. Matter of fact, instead of doing it right now, I could work them in the backyard, for instance, but they're comfortable back there. I take them out front, right on the road. Now I live in a really small town. There's not a lot of traffic, but there is a car here and there. We got the school across the street. But the idea is take them someplace obviously safe, but take them someplace they're uncomfortable with and work them there. Don't just always work them in the backyard where they hang out at all the time, right? Yeah. And matter of fact, this weekend we went and picked up raw meat, and I was going home to see my dad for his birthday, and we took one of the little bullies and the Frenchie. We took them into Walmart for the first time, and it was funny to watch how their reaction with the sliding doors when they opened up and everything, but they,
the doors,
meet a bunch
always.
of people. Everybody loved them, like everybody says. Take them to Lowe's, take them to Tractor Supply, take them to Home Depot, take them to Walmart. Take them here and there, but that I think that daily work, or maybe not daily, but if it's every other day or whatever, work them in places they're not comfortable with.
We had this conversation before, and I told you some dogs are so confident it don't even matter. We had a 4-month puppy went in, and he just exuded bad Betty, another one. Like it don't matter what you do, what environment you put her in, she gonna be confident and happy. And some of them are like that, and that's what I told you. Those dogs that turn the grand champions and all of that, they just they have confidence, and they're happy dogs, man. They like being in there. So, but you can't forget the experienced handler too, like James and Gary were saying right there. Pre-walking them in the ring, getting around the crowd, especially a first-time dog going in there. That experienced handler gonna do that. I always think it's best to handle your own dogs, you know what I mean? Because you put in all that work with them already before, and they just so they can get out of it, like you were saying in the Tractor Supply when your dog laid down. You know what I mean? They just feel safety within you. Yeah, they feel, and you can see it in their eyes, man. And I get more happy that a dog is built up like James was saying, like they get more confident as the show goes. That just make me so happy he was able to get through that little portion.
Well, and and Mike would probably agree with this. Get to the show early, right? And get set up and get your puppy out there in the ring, right? And even if it ain't a puppy, but if it's the first time, get him out there in the ring, go around the ring a few times where nothing's going on, but people are still around, that kind of thing. Like get there 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning, get set up, and go out there and get them kind of used to it. So then when you do come back in, they're not freaked out about what's going on.
Mm-hmm. That's valid. That's very valid. Let me ask you guys this. Any one of you jump in, man. Kennel blindness. Can we let everybody know what the definition of kennel blindness is? Anyone, man. Gary, you look like you want to jump right in, man.
I'll go first. I'll say probably the average person's going to just, their first dog, regardless what anybody tells them, they're going to be like, oh, man, he's the one or she's the one. I'm going to breed her regardless type of stuff. And, you can show them 100 pictures of 100 grand champions, and they still think their dog is still being like, no matter what you're trying to explain to them, like, man, look at the fronts, look at this.
Yeah.
Oh man, well, I think my dog's still cool. Like,
hey, that's funny. That's funny, man.
That's a good definition. Now I'm gonna put everybody on the defensive. We're gonna start with Money Mike Green. Mike, what do you do, or what goes on in your kennel in order to keep you from heading in the kennel blindness route? What checks and balances? What is there anything you do to keep from ever falling into that trap?
Well, we got a lot of experience in the ring, man. We were doing 15, 20 shows a year, you know what I mean, when we were showing. And we learned what that looked like. So what a good dog looked like, you know what I mean? And then we understand what tools are too, like how to get to that next level, you know what I mean, the wow factor dog. But you have Donald over there. What Donald do is he evaluate pups. He putting the hands on, he's getting to look at the temperaments and all of that and the health of the dogs. And then as they get in that line, probably about 4 weeks, we do initial evaluation. We don't tell each other anything. Like he'll look and see what he like, and I look what I like. Once we do that, we'll bring in some local breeders here. CC is a trainer and a handler, real good at it and real good at picking dogs. So we'll bring her in and see what she's at, and we just bring outside help in and see where we're at, and then just get everybody input, and then at the end of the line, at the end of the day, we just pick dogs that fit what we need. Like James was saying, he looked for certain traits. Yeah. Even though we may have a dog that might be better than this one, but this one had the traits that we're looking for. We're pretty confident in the line that we have, you know what I mean? But we need to get these expressed and, to create what we want. So.
Well, let me ask James, since you brought him up. James, what do you do to keep yourself from falling in the trap of kennel blindness?
So on my end, I guess I would say, it's pretty much like he said. You got your trusted group, right? Trusted people. You got people that you look up to. You trust what they'd say. You do your evaluations, but I mean, I've got plenty of people that I reach out to and, hey, what do you think? And get their input. It may be something that I'm looking at that I'm thinking is going to be an issue. My experience is not enough to know, but when you work together with people like that you can trust, you get their input on it. Now, I'm not saying just go listen to what anybody says about your dog, because there's not always the right intention there. But you build your core group of people that you talk with, and the same thing. They ask you what you think about their dogs. You just build on it. You go to the shows and you compare what you're working with to what you're competing against. You go to the shows, you see a good bit of competition.
Fair enough, man. So you basically, like Mike, you seek outside help. You're going to your trust circle. Go ahead, Mike.
You can't have no thin skin either.
That's it.
Can't have no thin skin, man. And like James is saying, you got to be able to trust that circle around you to be ain't nobody gas you up. And I'm laughing what Gary said, because you have a dog. You got a dog that won, best grand champion. That's for females, but then you have people around looking at that dog and like, hey man, my dog way better than that. You know what I mean? But the air circle had gassed them up and told them, man, that's the best dog on the planet. And don't even know what a dog is supposed to be, what it's supposed to look like, how it's supposed to be built, So
Hold that thought for a second, man. I got Stephen Maxwell. He's about to join our chat. Let me bring him in. All right, Stephen, as you just came in, let's put you on the spot right off the bat, man. What do you do to keep from having kennel blindness in your yard? What is your go-to? What do you do?
You said, what do I do? Can you repeat that one more time?
Yeah, what do you do to not fall in the trap of kennel blindness?
Man, it starts off with me is just understanding what kind of female you got. Understanding what kind of female you got, then understanding what kind of male you want to go to, to fix whatever, your female lack. So that's where it started at for me. And just be honest with yourself. You just know what she like, and then if you see other people dogs that make you just say, dang man, that's a nice dog, and then you look at yours and be like, okay, let me go back to the drawing board. That's just one of them things for me, man. Just being a realist with yourself.
Being objective. being objective, being
Yep.
able to balance, see a dog in somebody else's hands and evaluate it with yours and be completely honest with yourself. That's how I do it, man. So yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Hey now, I got in the ring, man, and you get in the champion class and grand champion class, you get to look around too much, that could hurt you. You got like because
Yeah, you
now
got
you grabbing body parts off of this and body parts off of that and wish you had it. And I had to, for me personally, I had to just focus on what was in front of me and getting the best out of my dog, man. Because I look, you go looking around too much.
It can break you as well. How about you, Jerry? Go ahead, man.
No, I went to Maxwell House and looked around, man. I was like, God damn, you got to start over, man. So you just gotta be happy with what you got, man. Knowing that you got to
trying to build Frankenstein's monster. You come out
like, James, what do you do, man? What do you do to keep yourself centered and not falling into that kennel blindness trap, man?
Well, here's the thing with kennel blindness, right? And I used to deal with it in horses. We called it barn blindness, right? Same thing. People love their animals, right? And so they're blinded by love and their feelings. But as a breeder, you can't afford to be that way. And so. And I've not talked about this publicly, but I don't see any harm in doing it. And I've been pretty good at picking dogs so far. I've had a lot of success with it early on, and I attribute my experience with horses having a lot to do with that. But I've invited Donald Gaines and Mike Green to my yard to come and evaluate my dogs.
Fair enough. So you're going out. I see two using Mike and Donald, and I've been using them as well, man. I might have appointment times and whatnot. Everybody using them over there, but definitely you want to go outside your yard and don't be like if I had, say for example, I had Stephen Maxwell and Gary Pope that I'm going to grade my dog and say I gave my dog out of 100, I gave it a 83 score. I'm going to go to Stephen Maxwell, send him a front shot, side shot, and movement. Tell him, give me a score from 1 to 100. Send him the text, forget about him. And I'm going to do the same thing with Gary. And then I'm going to let them both give me a score. Once they give me a score, whether it's higher or lower than what I got, the next thing I'm going to ask him is, why did you give me that score? What are you comparing it with? Why is it you gave the dog a 90? I'm giving him an 81. I want to know why. Or why you gave my dog a 61 and I gave him an 81. You see what I'm saying? Kind of get an idea, right? So I could almost kind of see through their lens as to what it is as that they're thinking of as far as scoring the dog. We got Michael. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying you just got to watch. Like I said, we do show dogs. You know what I mean? We don't have them bulls. So if you go to somebody like Mac, he got show dogs, so you got bulls with conformation. But you go to Maxwell, he got girthier dogs that got a lot more bone. And I say, hey, evaluate my grand champion right here, national winner. He gives a 50 because it's like bone and everything else that he has.
Well, yeah, but also that tells you who are you gonna pick to evaluate what you got. Because if you're shooting for more bone, right, and say just an example, I'm not saying you do, James, but say James has more show quality dogs with less extreme features. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to go to him to evaluate your dog on extreme, right? You're probably going to go to Steven or you're going to go over here to Gary or you're going to go over here to James. I'm just throwing an example out there. You just got to know who you're going to go to.
That's right. And that's what I was getting to. You don't call me and ask me to evaluate your XL because I can't do it. So
that's why I asked Mike.
Yeah.
That's why I asked Mike and Donald, right? I've run into them at the show ring now for what, it's been a couple of years now.
2 years.
We like very similar type of dogs. You know, You know, I know I know first of all, I know they're qualified to evaluate a dog. I just know that, right? And so I'm 100% comfortable having them come and look and tell me what's up, you know.
Yes, sir.
That's fair, and that's what we're advising, man. One other thing I want to get into, guys. What are we looking for when we're going to pick a pup? Now, I know the generic answer is depending on what I need, that's what I'm going to go get. So let's just say you have a litter of everything you need. Now, how are we going to split hairs and kind of get to the point of deciding who it is that we're going to keep? Right. So we're going to start out with you, Jerry. What are the things? What are deal breakers for you? And what are things that if you see it automatically, you're like, man, this may be it. What are the things you're looking for?
Well, for right now in my yard, when I'm looking at puppies, I'm looking for quality rear angulation. I'm looking for that turn of stifle. Okay. And for me, you know, and I think this revolves around the look you want in your yard and your pet peeves as well. So I'm real big about the, you know, about the lips and stuff. You know, I want my skin tight. I want my lips tight. So it kind of just depends on obviously the look that you want on your yard. But for me right now, my big focus is really trying to get that quality rear end set in my yard.
All right. So you mentioned turn stifle. I'm going to go ahead and put a dog diagram in front of you. I want you to point at it so everybody knows what you're talking about. Let me know if you're able to see it on your end.
I can see it.
Okay. Go ahead and point exactly at the turn stifle that you're looking at. That way they know exactly what you're talking about.
So can they see that when I point at it?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
move your finger. Move your finger the other direction because we're not seeing it over here.
Can you see that?
No, we're looking for your finger. We're looking for your finger.
Yeah, we're looking for your finger to point at it.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
All right, come down a little bit. Come down a little bit.
All right.
Come down a little bit. Down. The other down. There you go. Come down. It's like the tail on the donkey. There you go. There you go. So you see where it says
the
stifle.
Stifle is right there, but what I'm looking for is that if you go to the top of the croup, right where it comes out of the hip, comes down and that length and then that point, I want to see some width. I want to see some width there. I don't want to post. I want to see that. I really want to see that come out, you know. I'm sorry because my camera's up here, guys. I want to see that.
No, you're good. You're good.
I want to see that triangle, right? That I don't know what degree it would be, but you know what I'm saying. It's coming down, and I want to see some width to that thigh, and that's really for me because of the dog.
I take the big one.
The female that I started.
We got Donald there for a second. So Jerry, let me just ask.
The pockets. Go ahead. Yeah.
So when you see that turkey leg, right, just bulging out right then and there, that's one of the first things we usually say red flag for something that's bad. Let's call it a green flag for something that's good. That's a green flag for you when you see that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, definitely. I want to see that. When I'm evaluating a puppy, and I just did this recently, because I just had puppies. And we'll stick them up on the stack box, and I want to look at the structure. And I'm definitely looking for that. I'm really focusing on rear assembly right now. All the other things are important, but I'm super critical of rear assembly right now.
Okay, fair enough. We got that from Jerry James.
That's what I need to improve on.
No, that's good. That's fair. James Double Chain. Talk to me, man. What is the one thing when you're looking at a litter that when it pops out to you, you're like, oh, this may be it, man. This may be the one.
I mean, of course, you know, you're looking for the structure, but still, I mean, being that what I needed was bone and head. I mean, I'm just looking at building a puppy. You know, I'm looking for something stocky, good bone, good angulation, good structure.
Okay. Anything else in specific, man? Like for example, eye shape. You have almond eye shape, muzzle, anything else that sticks out to you?
Of course,
I
short
guess
muzzle. You look.
I guess that's a given. When you talk about people that breed dogs, you know what I mean? So when you ask that, like James is saying, like that's a given. Like we're already going through that chart you just put up. But
Yeah.
now we trying to isolate, you know what I
Yes.
mean? But yeah, but everything that I'm taking it that we know what we're talking about when we talk about dogs right now. Like not going through 100 different points of what we're looking for.
Okay, so I'm just trying to get game aside from what we're looking for. I'm trying to get what breaks the deal. What's the deal breaker? Like, let me give you an example. Let me give you an example.
Earlier,
go ahead.
You said earlier, don't answer with the obvious or what you. Everybody gonna pick dogs that have moved their program forward, and
okay, but if we have
turn the stifle, maybe bone, maybe more head, shoulder set, tail set. Like it just depends on what you have going on in your yard.
Okay, fair enough. I can tell you one of the things that becomes a green flag immediately for me is the crest, the neck. When I see bull bulge, automatically, if there is one pup that doesn't have it, they're automatically eliminated. I'm not even looking in your direction, right? So I'm trying to give the good and the bad. When I see the neck, that doesn't mean I'm going to pick you. It just means you've been preliminary upgraded to the next group. Now we're going to go into other things, right? But usually that neck is what gets me. Gary Pope, man, go ahead, Money Mike.
I just want to know if have anybody ever produced a litter and just got rid of the whole litter because you didn't get what you want. What happens in that case?
Oh, that's a good one.
They got to go.
Have you ever had to get rid of an entire litter because you didn't get what you was looking for, brother?
My first breeding, I did. I didn't see anything that I really, you know what I'm saying, that really took me. So I let them up. And my second litter, I kept a male, and I mean every litter since then I have. But that first one just really didn't. I mean, I really didn't know what I was doing. I mean, she had 10 puppies, but it was like, I mean, it was one of them that really made me want to keep anything because I knew where I was going. I knew I was trying to get to the show ring.
Good deal, man. Good deal. So it was actually sometimes you could win by losing, man. Process of elimination. Why bring something on that now you got to fix and dedicate resources and time to? How about you, Stephen Maxwell? I find it hard to believe, man, that you had to move away from the entire litter, bro. Talk to me, man.
I would say I probably had, the crazy part about it is I'm spoiled. So I can say yeah, I can say no. I can't say, bro, because it was a litter that I seen that I was like, it ain't giving me what I want right off the bat. Just looking at them, there was definitely nice pups and stuff like that, but I was already far ahead of what those pups were. So I got rid of the litter. Keep it.
There you go.
Fair enough.
Yeah, like that's how I was. I was already thinking about my next breeding. So I was like, man, I know this next one's going to knock it out. You know what I'm saying? Compared to these drinks.
No lie. Them puppies now, it's fine.
Yeah, that first litter, they definitely decent, but
let them go. So I'm gonna complicate things here for everybody, man. But I want everybody's honest advice, bro. Like, give it to them straight. What do y'all think about co-ownership and pup back deals? Talk to me. Steven looked like he want to talk. Go ahead, man.
It's a good, it's a bad, it's a good, it's a great, good, bad, ugly. Right?
Yeah.
Talk to me.
And the no-fly zone, right? So the great is, for me, I'd have had all categories. The great was, when you got a co-owner that's just, that does everything right, from nutrition, far as promotion, vet visits, the health of the dog, just all the way around, just staying on top of everything, you know, and actually a real dog person, you know, just not just being able to identify what's going on with the dog, but also showing the love and the care, the concern, you know, of what's going on with this particular dog, you know. And to be honest, I just confirmed that letter with this co-owner, right? Great guy. So the other good is the litter that I have on the ground now. The good thing about it is he did all of those things, but he also didn't take the time out to know, like, once you got a litter on the ground, that takes a lot of your time, right? It takes a lot of your time. So you have to sacrifice your time to take care of business. So we kind of had like a little rocky to that situation, but that's the good, right?
Right.
The bad, right? I had a person who got a cut on Kane. I had a person with a cut on. I had a person with a cut on that he just let litter. He didn't find out. Well, he found out that she started having, what is the word I'm looking for? She started to push the puppies out early, and prepared for it. He wasn't that knowledgeable. Even when I told him to do certain things, he kind of was half-assed. So that was the bad part about it, right? So the ugly and the no-fly zone is one thing for me. The ugly and no-fly zone is when you not really just paying attention to what's going on with the pup, and you're not able to make it past. You're not able to make it past. The no-fly zone is just a bad cut on. I don't even want to go into depth with that part.
A bad all the way around. But let me ask you this, man. Let me ask you this: when you're considering a co-own or a situation like that, right? Do you look at the breeder's experience and how much does that weigh in your decision? Because if it's a brand new breeder, a lot of times they allow you, or in other words, they want to be under your wing and want you to mentor them and show them the ropes. Or do you find more resistance with the newer people and the people that have been doing it longer, doing it more your way? Which way does it go?
You can have a person, you know that saying that they say, you have to be a teacher and a student, right? You have some people that feel like they're a teacher, that they already know it all right? And then you got a person that's a student that's willing to learn it all, right? But at the same time, you're wise enough to understand that you don't know it all, right? And so with that being said is, I'd have had my fair share of people who've been breeding for a long time that didn't do right, and who just got in the game and wanted to do everything right, you know? And my thing is, like I asked Mike earlier, how do we really know what person is who? You know, it's trial and error. You know?
Yeah, baby, trust.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a good point, bro. It's a good point, because I will tell you this, and what I'm about to say, people need to hear, but they don't want to hear it. And I'm sure everybody's gonna be nodding their head. Everybody in here, along with everybody out there watching, has had people within their circle that really don't know who they are until they have something from you that's valuable. Once they have that asset, that's when you're really about to find out who they are. And that goes for everybody. Straight up. Keeping it real with you, man. There's something about that $10,000 puppy that when it hits their hands, you about to find out if they really your friend or they were buttering you up, man. Keeping it real, man.
You want to know something? What's so crazy about that too? You want to know what's so crazy about that? Mike, I done told you this earlier. I feel like we're gonna take this, right? Take it and run with it. You got somebody who'll buy some Nikes and be like, all right, I'm gonna just do what I do in these shoes. I'm gonna bend them, get them dirty, do whatever. You got somebody else who gonna buy some Dior's, Balenciagas, all that. man, hey, I can't step in that dirt. I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? And then you got, that's one person, that's two. And then the third one is he value everything because whatever, it doesn't matter the amount of money he spent on it, he value it, right? It doesn't matter. But however, to me personally, now with cut-ons, I treat everybody different. Like if I charge you $8,000, $10,000 on a cut-on, it's basically a safety zone for me, right?
Right.
Because
for the risk.
Yeah, I'm taking a chance on something that if I come on it with you, I definitely need this pup. I on something with you that I don't need at all, period, right? So you have a piece of my next step, and that's important to me, right? So if anything was to happen to this pup, I lose my next step. Now I done took 10 steps back, right? 10 steps forward. However,
let me stop you there for just a second, man, because you bring up something valid, and I've had to bring it up in the past as well, man. I gotta just ask you this, right? And Mike and Jerry and Gary, you know, we've brought it up here in conversation before. James, this is your first time here, so I want you to hear it as well. How many times have you had somebody that buys a pup from you and feel that they didn't get a Coke can from the Coke machine? They feel they just bought the keys to the manufacturing plant. You know what I'm saying? Because the marketing, I'm keeping it real, man. Listen. Gaines over there, right? Mike Green and Donald Gaines, they had to drive to shows, show the dogs, be up to however many hours on that weekend and then come back to work. So in other words, they had to invest in everything that they got. So the marketing that they get is the marketing that they earned, right? And there's a bunch of coattail riders, right, that are thinking, oh, I'm going to get a pup from Stephen Maxwell. And as soon as I get the pup, I'm going to give him a big boot in the booty, kick him over to the side. And that's it, because now I got that asset, and I could pretty much ride that marketing coattail. Talk to me about that marketing. Who does it belong to? Who does the marketing belong to when Steven produces a pup? Should people be able to ride that coattail, or do they need to stand on their own 2 feet? Talk to me.
Listen, I've been there before too. All right, I've been there with Storm. Storm is the foundation of my program. I believe it belongs to both. It's one of those things where it's like you help me, I help you. We both grow type situation, Now it is a such thing as overdoing it, because the person who purchased this dog, you got to allow this person to have breathing room to do whatever it needs to do, whatever needs to be done to make sure this pup is great, right? Because every dog is not the same dog in somebody else's hands. You see what I'm saying?
That's fair.
So you just got
assumption.
Yeah, you just got to understand its boundaries and appreciate the person who you sold that dog to.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
a lot of
that's
times,
a fair assumption. But when is it too much? Give me a red flag.
This is a red flag for me. It happened with me. A red flag is when I make every post, you gotta share it, which I don't mind. But when you start to take all the credibility of the movements I decided to do with this dog, is a red flag.
Good point. Double chain. Oh, my bad, Gaines. My bad. Go ahead, jump in.
No, like you said, somebody grabs something valuable. They may grab the pup off of your yard. But this is what happens a lot of times, man. Say somebody get a good pup, and it happens. I know. I talked to several people. Say they get a pup off of Maxwell, Gary, James, and James off of here, and they get a good pup. Well, when they get that pup, whether it be a male or female, somebody going to
Right.
breed to it, or somebody going to get an early stud credit, right? But usually the big breeders come in there and say, well, I can say big breeders. I'm just saying a breeder will come in and say, hey, if you bring that female to my male, or you breed to this male, you know, they getting their way in there. But what happens is that person that got this dog, you know, they're like, oh, such and such reached out to me. And then all of a sudden, you know, they didn't got away from you on the dog you produced. You know what I mean? And I'm holding the papers of that dog right here. That's a co-own. You know what I mean? I got the papers to it. And it don't matter who you breed. Right.
They found validation. They found validation from a big breeder. Now all of a sudden they're turning their back on you.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's valid, bro.
So I got the papers.
What do you do in a scenario? What do you do in a scenario like that?
Huh?
What did you do on a scenario like that?
Oh, we got the papers. We have the papers of the dog. So we decide, because you got to think, when we call on a dog out, it take a lot to call on a dog out, you know, and trust somebody to continue to build off of what we're already doing. But the benefit is you're gonna get a split litter off of it, and you're gonna keep that almost finished product, you know, that's in your hand, instead of the 4 years it took us to get to that point. So you're gonna get half that already, and then you're gonna get the papers of the dog. But if you come in there and you're arguing with me, hey, I talked to Stephen Maxwell and Gary and James, and they said breeder to this dog or breeder to my stud, and they trying to work a deal with me, I ain't even gonna say nothing. I'm just gonna be quiet. Got the papers here, you figure it out.
That's right.
Yeah. Oh, James. Another thing too.
Oh, go ahead.
Another thing, you can end up with a good puppy. Like somebody got a puppy from us and got offered $30,000 for it, and you know what I mean. We always got to buy back clause on the dog. So you got to make sure you have your contracts right on that. Don't do a handshake, man. And if you're doing business, keep business.
So do you co-own just a particular sex, or it doesn't matter?
Right now we're at a particular sex, which is a female. We won't co-own no males out.
Why? I want them to know why. Tell them why.
It's too much work in the male. So say if Stephen Maxwell co-owned Thor to me, that made the female you just champed out.
Right.
He co-owned it to me, and I get the dog, and then you know, it's both our dogs, but we had to honor all the stud credit. I mean, all the credits that it sell. You know what I mean? So just say it sold 50 stud credits, I'll be the one taking that dog to the vet and, you know, making sure nothing happened to this dang dog, you know, while trying to fulfill those stud credits. You know what I mean? And then, like, who's responsible? Say the dog only met half of that. Who's responsible to him? And then long term is, now we talking about the lifetime of the dog, or however it is, until it you know, it stay hot or whatever. What I see, if you have people you don't trust or don't understand about it, you know, that could be a factor. You're like, hey, I'm the one doing all this work, and I'm sending you half the money, and next thing you know what I mean, doing stuff under the table and all of that, not doing the business.
Talk to me about what they can do under the table, man. Give me an example. Give me an example of something they can do under the table with males. I got Thor over here, Stephen Maxwell, and Joe Blow down the street hits me up, and he's like, hey, bro, that Stephen Maxwell dude, he's charging way too much for that dog. If you give me a little something, I'm going to give you a little something. You give me a little something from that dog, I'm going to give you a little something on the side, and we can leave Stephen Maxwell outside of this whole deal. I don't need papers on the dog. Right? Come on, man. Let's keep it real.
They tried.
Yeah. Hey, yeah.
I like doing temporary co-owns on my females.
Okay.
Where they
how does that work?
Possibly, you know what I'm saying? At the most, I say at the most 2 breedings, but I say a lot of them I have it where there's only 1 breeding, especially if they bought a puppy off my boy Anguish and they want to breed back to, say, Demise with the female or whatever. Mm-hmm. Boom, I give them a free stud credit to Demise basically, and just give me second pick puppy back. So it's like I'm almost doing a in-house breeding in their house type of stuff.
Yeah.
You know
what I mean?
You know, it's funny you say that. I do the same thing, but I don't do second pick back. I do first and third.
Yeah,
I do first and third because if I keep best male, you could keep best female, or vice versa, right off the bat, right off the rip.
Most likely, the person ain't even going to keep the best puppy. Most likely, you know
Right.
what I mean? So I had contracts where I do, if it's 5 or less puppies, I get 1 puppy. If it's 6 or more, I get 2.
Okay.
And then I take second. Then I take second pick and fourth pick.
You do it too complicated, bro. I keep it simple. I have all the.
Well, I know. Depending on my males, I know the males throw. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They never had under 6 puppies. So,
me personally, I do either. It depends on the female I give you.
Yeah.
On what I need from her. I might just need one thing. So I might do one breeding and say, give me the pup you can keep.
Boom. That's all I need.
You can keep the female. Or if I know she got a long-term potential for me, we're going to do a split litter. And then we're going to do another litter. I'm going to get first pick. Then you can have it.
I got like Spiteful's sisters. I got the Zero daughters. I got them on a co-own where I get a puppy off of 2 breedings. I get second pick puppy off of 2 different breedings.
See my thing is this how bad it is for me. I stay up all night. I ask them, like, I'll call them nonstop. Man, how's she looking? Let me come and see her. Send me a video, because now I'm on the hunt for what dog I want to take her to.
Looking for.
So if I can't get it out of one breed, that second one, I for sure don't want her at all. Period. Nothing to do with them pups. But most likely, 10 times out of 10, I'm gonna get exactly what I want. So
fair enough. So go ahead, man. I don't mean to interrupt you. There's like a slight delay, like a 1.5 second delay.
I don't try to, just like I got 2 litters on the ground again. Cut-ons. Hell Baby. I took Hell Baby to Brim. Something that I ain't did in a long time. So it's a pretty big breeding to me. So we end up splitting the litter, and our relationship so good, we end up coming on a male and a female all over again. So I don't mind. I don't mind doing things like that. It definitely depends on the person, how we do it, and what's going on. But most important, I don't want to keep something, I'm always steady moving forward, And so everything that I have, everything that I have, even on co-own, it means a lot to me. So when I'm up studying late behind the scenes. So some people be like, oh man, he just make it seem too easy. No, I'm doing a bunch of research.
That's the part people are missing. And that leads me to this other question that we're going to bring up on this live. And I'm glad you're here, Stephen, because I know you breed this particular way. And so do some of us here.
Yeah.
As far as phenotypical breeding, right? Breeding based on what you see. What are the pros? What are the cons?
Man, that's a deep conversation, man. That's a real.
It is.
And so my thing is, everybody know. I want everyone to know. Yes, I am for sure 100% phenotype of breeder.
Yes.
Then it transformed into the genotype, right? So my thing is, you got to understand where it came from to understand where you're going, right? So where we at today is way farther than where it was back then. But my thing was, in order for them to get to where we at today, did they breed genetics?
They could only breed phenotypically back in the days. I get that.
You see what I'm saying? And they kept producing certain dogs over and over and over again to get exactly what they want. And to the point where you get what you want, and now you have to stay consistent. That's the thing. That's the word. Consistency is the real work behind everything. So once you have it, you need to keep matching the phenotype. Even if you go and look at a person pedigree, if the pedigree doesn't match the phenotype, I don't want it, right?
Yeah.
So because that dog can definitely still throw its characteristics, so
that's a fair assumption what you just said. But what is a con? Talk to me. What's a con of phenotypically breeding exclusively phenotypically? Anybody, guys, this is a conversation. So I ain't gonna pick nobody from here on out. You just talk.
Yeah. So for us, I mean, we learned on the embark side, and Donald been more in on it than me. You know what I mean? I'm not because when I look at the dogs, I use common sense, right? And I just enjoy the dogs that I got in front of me while they're here. You know what I mean? And I'm looking forward to a day where we're not breeding no more dogs, because I don't want to be 70 years old and got dogs that I have to go somewhere else or go in a pound or whatever might happen when I'm gone. You know what I mean? But the life expectancy of the breed is what? You know what I mean? And how long do we want them to live? That's one.
How long
you want to breed before you can't enjoy the dogs you got in front of you, or yeah, how long you just gonna keep breeding until you know what I mean, till you're done, and then now you got all these dogs out there that probably possibly end up anywhere. But I think what Donald and what I've learned though is learning from you, Raul, and learning from James. You know, it just added that extra to it to understand what's going on the inside. So we got a female that's muscled up, and like she might have a double liver gene or something that's creating all this muscle. But now, you know, we're going to watch and make sure we ain't breeding it to something that carrying that same gene like that. Like we should just start to match up genotypes where it balances each other out, instead of, you know, adding too much or you know what I mean, or maybe causing other problems. But
let me say this, and would it be fair? Go ahead, Mike.
I'm just saying, like, just say last year it was 300,000 dogs that was produced, right? A year from now, right? They're all in this 2023 or whatever. And out of all them dogs that have been produced, American Bullies are breed from standard, classic, XL, whatever, pocket. How many of them dogs died from health issues? A percentage of it. If you could put a percentage in it, you know what I mean? And then I look at, so this is where I'm thinking. How many dogs, what's the leading cause of death of these dogs here? It is usually
cardiac issues.
Huh?
Cardiac breathing issues.
It's breathing, right? Breathing, right? The short muzzle or whatever.
Yeah.
But how many? But what I think more dogs have died from not being in the right environment, not knowing what to do to take care of. Died from I'm saying besides like cardiac. I've not seen a lot of dogs die from cardiac issues. I can count the dogs that I know of that die from cardiac issues, but I'm not seeing out of 300,000 is like, you know, 50% of that. That's when a health issue to me is a big
here's
issue.
Where it gets a little complicated in that, bro, and that is that our community, a lot of people that join this community, they've never had an asset in their life. And I don't mean it from an arrogant standpoint. Guys, there was a point in life that I never had an asset in my life, right? And the same goes for everybody else in here. So what ends up happening is people figure out that you need a market, and then they start getting this idea that you always got to look pretty on social media. Everything's got to look pretty and intact on social media in order to be able to sell. So immediately, if you have a dog that is brachiocephalic and he died because of congestive heart failure, you don't want to tell the world, because now people are going to be looking at your yard like, this dude is out here producing sick dogs. You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of complicated, because I've reached out to many people when the dogs have passed and just asked, hey, is there any way I can find out, like, why did he pass? Because I got some of that blood too. And the response is, XYZ. How real is that answer? You really don't know.
You got to know. I know you as a breeder. I know James is a breeder. I know Gary Pope is a breeder, and the breeders that I know, and the community that you build, somebody know what's going on with a dog, and you get the back information. I can tell you damn near all the dogs that died, what they died from, because first thing you do when a dog died, see where that son of a gun added my pedigree.
Exactly. No, I agree. So I agree, but I will tell you this, Mike. Maybe because of the platform I'm in, they always try to keep that from me. I'm not talking about people in my circle. I'm talking about people outside my circle. They're afraid that I'm going to come out here on this platform and be like, this dude here, we've never done that here. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
the same could be said in the community in general. I do think that there are some cons in phenotypically breeding, and it comes down to, if you don't know what's under the hood, like you said, Mike, you could be breeding a dog that has kidney issues to another dog that got kidney issues, right?
Right.
Am I
Right.
telling you that you need to breed exclusively genetically? I'm not saying that, man. You got to line up the dogs phenotypically, right? But then go ahead and do yourself a genetic test so that you don't line up the recessive detrimental genes that are going to pop up. If you have a litter full of pups with bladder issues or kidney issues, what good is that for anybody? It ain't good for the customer. Sure as hell not going to be good for you.
Can you give me a
Go ahead,
hierarchy give me a hierarchy of
do y'all run the test on each and every last pup out of that litter, or do you just choose the dog that you pick out of the litter to run the test on?
I run a test on every single pup. Every single pup.
Right, so let me ask y'all this too. Just because, now that's dope. Look, let me show y'all something real quick. So my
Conversation
girl,
just took a left turn, man.
She an artist.
Oh, look at that.
Okay.
Yeah, she an artist.
That's on a pumpkin.
Yeah, she did that on a
That's
pumpkin.
cute, man.
Yeah, she
Dang.
did that herself.
It's nice.
Her hands. She saw the picture and she did it herself.
Oh, that's crazy.
Dang, man.
She dope. Back to what I was saying is this though, right? I feel like think about it. Just because it doesn't come up, do you think later down the line, or when, just like for instance, you sell this new breeder, old breeder, whatever it is, a pup. Now they go and breed to somebody else, and they say, "Oh yeah, man, look, we got the papers, we got to test it. This dog don't carry this." Then I end up having a litter, and boom, the thing that they said it doesn't carry end up popping back up.
Yeah.
It can, and let me tell you where more than likely that can happen. More likely than, I mean, it could happen at any instance, right? But more likely than not, it's going to happen with inbreeding, because something happens when you inbreed. Say you have a dog that has been tightly line bred and is walking around with a koi of 27, let's just say 27. And you turn around and you inbreed that dog. Let's say you embark that dog and the dog's completely clear, but you embarked him, right? What's going to happen is the pups that are going to be coming out of that litter are going to get a lot more homozygotic or identical pairs. And it's in those homozygotic recessive identical pairs that a lot of detrimental, diseases and whatnot pop up. I remember when I first got into breeding, an old breeder told me that when you inbreed a dog that has been tightly line bred, you can go back a generation. Okay. And I didn't understand it at the time, but the more I've gotten into genetics, it makes a lot of sense. And that is, say, for example, a breeder has a litter right now, right? Let's call it generation 1. And in that litter, he had 10 pups and 5 puppies had kidney issues, and he culled them. And he only let the other 5 that were good to go, he let them go. One person grabbed one of those puppies, right? That might have been a carrier, but didn't have it fully. And they inbred that pup. Now, what can happen is, because of the homozygotic pairs, you now created the disease because you brought it back to its original source. If that makes any sense. That definitely can happen, bro. I mean,
Yeah.
Responsibly, you want to do it and you want it to work as best it can, but realistic genetics, anything can happen, bro.
Yeah, so you can't build a dog by taking 2 embark tests and look at them and decide to make that dog, right?
Correct.
So
that's
the
not what
first
it's
thing
used for.
is no. I'm just saying it's just another tool to add to it.
Yeah.
Another piece of the puzzle.
another piece of the puzzle. So say me and Donald decide we're gonna breed a dog. First thing we're gonna
Yes.
look at the phenotype and see what we can gain at, right?
Yes.
Then if we see something that matches that, we're gonna look at the pedigree and see how is it stacked in the pedigree. Make sure if something ain't over inbred or this or that, we'll see how that's stacked in the pedigree. Then we go to Jerry James and say, hey man, can you run a COI on this? Hey, all right, so we got our COI back. Hey, can y'all look at these embarks? You know, because I said we're embarking now. We weren't embarking before. I didn't even care about it, but we embarking now. You're reading it, and then now I'm understanding the embarking, and I see the importance of that part of it. But my first thing is I got to be able to look at the dog and be able to match and see what's there. And if I see something that in that genetic now that, you know, that can hurt us down the road, we have to pass up on it. You know, that's just being
no, exactly, bro. I think you hit it on the head, bro. I'm exactly on board with you. You need it's got to phenotypically make sense to you what it is that you're doing. You can't just look at two genetic tests and say, oh yeah, they're all clear, let's put them together. Yeah, that it doesn't work that way. I totally get it. I agree with you. James, Double Chain, you've been quiet for a little bit, man. Give me your 2 cents on this.
Man, I'm in here learning, guys. I'm learning from you guys.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Hey, glad to have you on though.
Yeah, man. Hey, this dude over here and Steve Maxwell, right? This dude over here and Stephen Maxwell are the ones that created this over here. So, hey, you know what I'm saying? And let me just say this.
Shout out to all of y'all, man, because I mean, he had to find, like he said his story, how he found the stud to fit his female. His female is a grand champion Nipsey Hussle, which I got a chance to stay at the hotel with that female. That's not the female, but grand champion Nipsey Hussle out of New Orleans. So I know that dog looked good. But I mean, they put that together, and then you was able to get the pup, but it took all three of y'all. So you guys are married at the hip to me on this dog. You know what I mean? Because that's what it takes. The end user, you gotta get that end user and the right person, and be able to push the dog. You know what I mean? Shows is not cheap. Paying for professional handlers is not cheap. None of that's cheap. No. Road trip is not cheap. That's on you carrying the load of that part. You know what I mean? And the care and
and James told you that part of the how did you put it, James? Part of the courting process, right? Was me telling James, hey, bro, I'm looking to put this girl in the ring. Like he probably wouldn't have let her go had I not mentioned something like that.
That's right.
Man. Hey, we have a couple questions here. Let's answer these before we head out. I want everybody's input, man. We got Eric Rutherford saying, how do they feel about embarking the potential mate to the Pup Back deal? Come on, give me a one-word answer, everybody.
Absolutely.
Okay, me too. Yeah, I agree. How about you, James?
I totally agree.
You agree with that, Gary Pope?
Oh yeah, it's going to help you. You know what I'm saying? Determine. I say, if anything, help you pick your keeper. It is another tool to use to help you pick your keeper.
And keep it nice and clean. Stephen Maxwell, go ahead, man.
Want to be honest, me personally, embarking is one thing. I don't mind at all. I just need to know the direction of, you know, just where we're going with it, man. My mind just be so big on everything. It's just where we going, you know. Even once we do that, what's the next move from that? Like, I don't mind, but what's the goal from doing all that?
What if it's just health testing, just to make sure the it's going to be clear?
Of course, that's cool. Yeah, we can definitely do that. But my thing is, sometimes even when you embark a dog, you know, this is my question too. Will it come back? Like, say for instance, even if you embark this dog at the age of, I want to say like what, 10 months, 11 months, is it possible that something can come up later down the line?
No. Well, hold on. I answered completely wrong. Genes are constantly changing, and they can mutate. But I will say this. The prime of the dog's life, more likely than not, no. When the dog gets old, obviously, like all old people in the world, man, You know,
Breakdown.
your genes mutate and things happen once you get old. But typically in the dog's prime, it should not happen. And Jerry just hit on something. If you have a dog next to a bleach plant, a chlorine plant, or something like that, that's environmental. That can affect the dog's genes. Definitely. Could cause cancer, could cause mutations and things like that. But if he was in the right environment, I would say that for the dog's first 5 years, more likely than not, no, it's not going to be a major mutation.
So, like you saying, I mean, you go and you look at a female, they probably at they peak, they start to decline after 4. You know what I mean? You got a male, he may go to 8, 7 or 8. You know what I mean? But so health of life. You talk about the prime, and I just seen too many people go through with, they got older dogs at that age and then catch cancer, and then now they fighting it for 2 years. You know what I mean? But and these people are embarking and doing everything they can do, and both the dogs end up with cancer. So you know, it's just something that, like you said, them genes are constantly mutating. But same Joe Mo, you got the dog and they leave the dog in the backyard. More dogs die from I see more dogs dying from being overheated than anything. And it could be because of we go back to COVID. Could be because of the short muzzle out there in the sun, but the sun was the catalyst for that to kick in. You know, for a dog to stress out and to stop breathing and you know, have a panic attack or whatever. But I'm not seeing anybody producing unhealthy dogs. But from what I do and what I know now is I would get embarked on that male just because I just seen some stuff. I just seen some stuff under the hood that I hadn't seen. I seen it all outside. I know what that looked like, but I hadn't understood the inside of the dog yet. You know what I mean? So just on that part, even though just on the safety part of it, I do it, but normally that's not the route I would go. My route has always been the same. I take common sense. I see a lot of dogs out here. See a lot of dogs pass away. I look down my pedigree, and all the great grandparents are still alive, and that's how I go for me. Just to keep it simple.
Hey, bro, that's a fair assumption, man. Again, embark health testing is just a tool, just like COI is a tool. It doesn't guarantee anything. It's just, if you're going if we're going to play poker, right? And everybody's going to get 4 cards. If I told you 2 aces have been pulled by the other 3 people playing, that gives you a slight advantage in your head because you're like, okay, there's 2 aces out there. Now I know how to better stack my odds. That's all embark does for you. It cannot guarantee anything. Real quick, sit down.
I got one more thing, and I'm done.
Yeah. Go ahead.
You take a dog that you go and you're doing regular vet visits. I mean, you're constantly, you know what I mean, you're monitoring your dogs, man. You look at your dog poo. You're on your regular warming schedule. You know, your what they call it, Vivecto, to prevent mosquito bites, and you're doing, you know what I mean, you're doing your vinegar bath, and I mean, you're doing everything right. And I think I focus more on just enjoying my dog in front of me and doing those things, getting to the vet. If I notice anything, you know, going on with them, I get them to, you know, to the vet to make sure that there's nothing there. But my whole deal is, man, enjoy that damn dog, man. If I got to worry about all the other stuff, man, it'd take me away from what I enjoy.
That's fair, man. If that's how you roll with it, go ahead, Steven.
Yeah.
My female, my foundation female, almost 7 years old, and she's still looking.
She's 7.
She's Storm. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's going on 7.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Believe it or not, man, I have a 7.5-year-old Fireball.
And that's a good looking boy there. I seen him. I got to put my hands on him.
He about to turn 8 on me, man. He about to turn 8. And what's funny is when the time comes, I might not rule him out going into a girl like this. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying I'm just not ruling them out. That's all. Real quick, man. We got to get to some questions, man. Sid 1026 says, but do you think that the ABKC pushing for extreme dogs is causing health issues in these dogs? Do you think?
No.
Do you think the extreme? Okay. Okay, you don't think so. How about you, Jerry?
I do.
You do? Okay.
I do.
What do you think? You think it's got more to do with
and
the
here's why.
Uh-huh.
No, it's not so much that, but here's why. For instance, look at the lifespan of a bodybuilder, okay, and look at the lifespan of a gymnast, let's just say, or some other person that doesn't pack on tons of extreme muscle.
Ethiopian long distance runner.
There you go. Thank you, Mike. So look at the lifespan of the two. Your average professional bodybuilder doesn't live past their 40s.
Yeah.
But
wait, let me play devil's advocate. But the quality of life of that bodybuilder may be amazing. That dude may live a lifestyle where I don't know. I'm just throwing something out there.
You're talking, well, okay, Frank Zane is still alive, Arnold Schwarzenegger is still alive, but a lot of the extreme bodybuilders that are current these days don't live past the age of 40.
Okay. Or they got issues. They got bad knees, bad back.
Was it because of the steroids and chemicals they were using?
Well, okay. So look at it this way. So you have the size of the heart doesn't change, but you add all of the muscle, the additional cardiovascular drain on the same size heart. Fair. All right. That's what I'm talking about. All of the things being equal, just the added mass that heart has to serve will shorten that dog's lifespan over time.
I agree with you, but I got to say this. There's two ways you get mass. You could either get that chunky mass like you got going on and I got going on, or you could get that muscular mass, and that muscular mass makes your metabolism work faster, which means your heart is not surrounded with fat, makes your heart work a lot easier. That's just a fair assumption.
It's harder on your joints though, ain't it? Whether it's muscle or whether it's fat.
No, you're right about that. I had to take a dog to the vet for being over muscle.
Over muscle?
Off the protein. Yeah. I had working dogs, some hog hunting dogs, catch and hold, some pit bulls, that we kept conditioned, and the vet told me that they had too much muscles on their joint. Overdid it. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, guys. It's really cool to look at, but it's really bad for these dogs.
Yeah,
definitely the joint side of it. I'm not going to argue with you, man. I'm not. Right. I'm just playing devil's advocate so we could have a conversation, man.
Don't get me started.
Which generation do you start putting your kennel name on the registration?
What generation your kennel name on the registration? You buy?
Yes, sir.
As soon as you say you buy a pup off of what's it called, Gary over here, you breed that puppy and then now you can put your name on that pup. But
you don't put your name on that on Gary's pup, do you?
Don't put your name on Gary's pup, the one you bought.
Okay.
I'm gonna put mine on Stevens.
Huh?
I'm gonna put mine on Stevens right away.
I couldn't hear nothing because people was calling me, man. I couldn't hear nothing. What happened? He said I'm gonna put mine on Steven.
He's gonna put his kennel name on the pup he gets from you.
You know, look, we family now.
Hey, I want you to know this up. PBK was talking about a $8,000, $10,000 co-owned, man, and he's selling puppies, crazy. I mean, crazy numbers. so that's some low. That's some low numbers.
Hey, my boy Buster became a daddy for the first time today.
Hey, congrats on that, Jerry, man. Congrats on that, bro. Buster became a daddy, man.
9.
Yeah.
Hold on. I got a video. I got a video for y'all, man. Hold on.
You bringing it up here?
Yeah, I'm gonna bring it up. It's gonna play on the background on my screen. Hold on.
Okay.
It's Donald. It'd be real quick. So I'm gonna work on something, man. Me and Donald
start falling off.
Oh, hold on.
Take the big ones
My goodness.
and let her start licking on them, and somehow everything goes smoother after she'll start licking on them, and she's getting them to go potty, and it seems to, like, once she does this,
y'all got it?
takes over, and her lick will be real good. And she knows how to keep them clean and just kind of bring them to life. And she now since a C-section and no litter before, she didn't know what they were. They might as well threw little rats in there with her, but now she's licking on them and loving on them, and now they're her puppies. The big boy. Yeah, good girl. I kind of hold them up for her at first. After a few days, she'll roll them over on their back, smell who needs to go. It's kind of never gets old. It's such a miracle.
Nice, man.
There you go. Good boy. Big boy. Okay, big boy. Yeah. He's a pretty big old healthy boy.
Good stuff, man.
This is about over.
Yeah. So another whopper. Pretty head, just moving around.
All right.
Good deal, man. Good deal. We got Money Mike working on it. Hey, before I forget, man, I got Stormy Bullies giving orders to Kyle.
I'm trying to cut this off.
Pues claro que sí, cabrón.
There you go, man.
Pues claro que sí, cabrón.
Stormy became
open his eyes about 10 or 12 days, and he's gonna like what he sees. Yeah, you just gotta keep after it.
All right, Mike.
They start licking. I would get a little honey or something like that and put on my finger and maybe put it on there. Anything I could do to encourage her to lick them. It had been so long that I didn't think I would take a little sponge with warm water on just to relieve the puppies so they could do their potty.
And I master.
You don't even have to have a sponge. If you just touch in that area, they're gonna start peeing. You can tell if their little belly was so hard that you need to get them to do that. But yeah, I've not seen one yet that over a course of a few days with you really working at it that they won't start doing this.
Nice, man. Nice, Mike. Nice.
So that's just something I'm working on. I'm gonna document this litter right here. And then we're going week by week to say what we're looking for. From initially getting the pups home and getting them to latch for the first time. So it's just a bunch of stuff that I'm putting together on the 8-week deal of the pups.
That's gonna be banging, bro. It's gonna be banging because you're gonna be giving instruction and you're gonna be showing step by step how they're gonna be developing. Gentlemen, there's one thing we do here on this show, man. Let me bring Hollywood Holland from the back over here, man. Let me bring him in here. And we're going to start our outro, man, because that's the show for tonight. By the way, everybody's invited for next week, man. If y'all want to jump in, we could do this again. Go ahead. Hold on a second. Go ahead, Hollywood.
One more thing. Adam's asking about the honey and peanut butter gains. Is that Donald's putting that on there to get them started licking the puppies, right? He's putting a little bit on the pup.
Yes, you
I
put it
see.
on the bottom of the pup to get the because like okay, so you didn't see the beginning of the video, but anyway,
She
there's
had a
probably about
C-section.
3. Yeah, so she come off the C-section.
Okay.
What happens is they'll get. She had to be put to sleep or whatever they call that part. And what she does, that goes in her system. Well, the puppies are groggy too. So
Yeah,
you got groggy puppies, you got groggy mom at home, and she didn't know you got
that was her pup.
monitor, right? So now that first 24 hours, 48 hours is just getting them to bond with the pups and then get in part of that licking process. So if they're not licking, you put a little honey or peanut butter on the bottom on the and let them lick
I
it
got
off.
you.
Right.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
All right, good deal, man. Let's start it out. Hollywood. Show
Your boy
everybody how we
Hollywood
do it.
Holland. Your boy in the back of the queue, and we're catching you on the next one.
All right, Jerry James.
Jerry James.
Thanks, guys. Always a pleasure to be here. See you next time.
James Dane.
Thanks for the invite, man. Appreciate you guys. Catch you next time.
Yes,
You got
sir.
it, man. Gary Pope.
King Pope Kennel. Catch y'all fellas on the next one. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Stephen Maxwell.
Hey, now. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate it. Thank y'all for having me, man. Until we meet again, Production Bill of Kennels. We out.
Hey, stay on the phone, man.
Forget no.
Hey,
James.
Mike Green with James Bullies. I'm not down on games right now, Mike Green. But hey, appreciate every one of y'all out there, man. And we'll see y'all next week. Salute.
Hey, you already know, man, this is Raul from the Q. We'll be catching you on the next one.